And I'm going to be talking a little bit about the method autocrats use to sow disinformation and disrupt people so that they can take control. And I don't think we're that bad here in this country, but I think democracy has always been difficult. You've always had to work at it, and these days we have to work at it a heck of a lot harder. And from being at the University of Maryland, I know that these young people are not coming to college with a finely developed sense of how free speech is supposed to work and tolerance for the thoughts of others. And ironically, over the last couple of years when I've been involved in conversations, it's been the children of immigrants from countries where things are really, really bad that have come forth and spoken up and said, you think that's what you want, and I'm here to tell you, no, you don't. With me, we had these protesters. They were very conservative Christians, 4 guys who showed up on campus and were saying vile and disgusting things about women and gays and Muslims, and they were at it for like 3 hours. And students, instead of just sort of letting these guys just sort of talk to the wind, got very agitated, and they started coming to McKeldin Mall, right in front of the library. And they started protesting and chanting. Wallace says a couple of the girls, first they took their shirts off and then they took their bras off. And then the cameras were there, and then the police came, and I said, nobody got arrested, right? He said, no, that was just all verbal. And he said, after about 3 hours, everybody went home. And I said, well, Wallace, progress. 2 years ago, we would have had people being absolutely distraught, and it would have gotten ugly, and there would have been physical altercations and everything. And, we've always told the students that if you hear something you don't like that offends you, counter-protest, counter-speech. I said they did it. I don't think we do have declining news readership. We have a decline in the traditional news business model. And I've got a slide that I'll be showing about all of this. Essentially, we're still producing news and people are still consuming it. Every day I read probably 4 newspapers, and it's all online, and I pay for some of it. Actually, I pay for all of it. And it's not that expensive, but I have my places I go to. Now, most people are getting their news from Twitter or Facebook or Google. The newsroom is spending enormous amounts of money to produce that news. And Facebook, Twitter, and Google are making enormous amounts of money from the advertisers to distribute that news. The problem is none of the money is going to the content producers. I have a lot of confidence in this generation. They don't communicate the same way we do. I try to keep up with all the ways they communicate. But we're trying to teach them to use different tools to gather information and use other tools to disseminate that information. We're trying to use traditional and non-traditional partners to get their work distributed. And they're getting lots and lots of noise from all sorts of different places. But we have a lot of work ahead of us to teach people the difference between quality information and junk.